Okay. So, let's talk about some money making strategies.
Before I know I'm the first one that said, "Wait a minute, I need to take the class." And she gonna look at me. I'm like, I obviously don't have any money.
Well, I'll take
strategies.
I'll take
Okay,
some notes.
listen. But if you've ever thought about, we know we've all said that at some point. So, what has been your plan to try to get there?
Work.
I have a really good idea to start my own business.
Okay, and when did you get that idea?
I would say, today is January. I would say 7 months ago.
Okay. And so have you implemented anything to try to get there?
I got my degree.
Okay, so that was a big to do. That was a huge milestone.
Excuse me.
Angela?
I thought of starting my own business too, but this came about 10 years ago. So I've gotten my degree also,
Very good.
and I'm learning different parts of the business that I want to start.
Okay.
So I'll get there. It's another milestone.
So when are you planning to get there?
Let's say when I feel that I know enough that I can start.
And when do you plan to start yours?
Actually, I am gathering a team so I can do it before the next quarter. I'd like to start by March, April.
Okay. Ma'am, new girl, what kind of plans you got?
I had some plans. I had a budget, but I'm having to implement any of it. I need to just start fresh. None of it is. I ain't implementing nothing right now.
Okay, so Abby?
You don't have no plans? You must have some
You're
plans.
too young not to. You're the youngest one in the
I
bunch.
can multitask while recording.
Okay.
Honestly, if I were Abby, if I was Abby's age, knowing
Well, you
then
know
what I
now.
know now, if you save $25 a month, by the time you retire, you're done.
Okay, so
$25 a month.
let me ask you, how much? Just yes or no? Do you have a
No.
savings?
No.
Angela?
A little bit.
Okay, a little bit being from $1 to 10,000, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Derica.
Less than 5, less than that. Maybe a month of my bills.
That's awesome, actually, because most people don't even have that. Most people live paycheck to paycheck.
I have savings.
You were next.
That's wonderful.
You were next. So when did you start saving?
Like mid-September, I want to say.
Oh, shit.
That's good. And you're how old?
I'm 22.
That's good.
That's excellent.
All right, so we got one person.
6.
All right, let's do it. Tell me you're ready.
It's already going. It's been going.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you who I promised that I would give you guys some financial talk, we have to remember that I am by no means endorsing any type of financial information or encouraging you to do one alternative versus the other. I'm simply sharing with you some of the strategies that I have done that have worked in my life, and I like to share information so that we can all grow. There's no point in us sharing and holding on information if we can't share it. So one of the things we talked about was, have you ever said to yourself at any point, I want to be rich or I want to be debt free? So the first thing that you have to say is, at what point, excuse me 1 second. She'll be right there. At some point, you have to say, okay, what am I doing to actually help me meet those goals? Are you saving money? Are you setting goals? Are you paying off debt early? I have four of our staff members here with me today. And so we're all going to talk about how we save and how to make money. my goal has always been to at least make $1 million at some point. So I have a 3-year goal. That's my long-term goal, is to make $1 million in 3 years. 3 years starting from now. So one of the first things that you have to do is you have to map out how much money can I save, not over the month, but over the days. So how much can you reasonably put aside and save that money every day? Think about things that you can cut out. For me, I drink sweet tea every day, probably 2 of them at McDonald's. So that's $2 a day that I spend at McDonald's at least. So if I multiply that times 30 days in the month, how many do I get? That's $60. So if I take that $60 and I multiply by 12 months of the year, how much do I have?
480. 72. What did I say?
Yeah, that's okay.
Don't listen to
We-
the sidebar.
What's going on?
So we have $720 for the year. Now, what you have to do is add interest on that, because when you're putting that money in a safe place, they're going to add interest on it. So our ideal interest would be 8% if we were getting an 8% return on it. That's not always feasible to say it, but even if we were getting 6% interest on it, and I can't think today either, so I'm going to do the calculations right here. Do the calculations for me, please, Mel. So you figure out what you're going to get annually on that return. If you invested, let me give you an easy one. So if we invested $1,000 a month, 1,000 times 12 is $12,000 that you have put up. If you get a 6% return on that, how much a year are we getting on that return?
12,000?
It's gonna be $720 a year. You're gonna make $720 a year off of that $12,000. Then you multiply that times 30 years. We say we're gonna do this for 30 years. So multiply that and give me the figures. So I'll come back, and while they're over there, all these educated people are over here trying to figure out what 6% is. They're trying to figure out what's
720 times 30 years is 21,600.
right. But that's just the interest. That's the interest. So then you multiply that times 30.
Okay.
You multiply that by 30, and that's what you get
Okay.
for what you've made over that 30-year period.
Okay.
Okay? They're still working. So, and set you some short-term goals. Do some investments. One of the things that I did, and I started learning how to save, is when I got pregnant with Robin. I got pregnant with her early at 17. So I took my very first income tax check and I invested it. But I invested it into a CD. Because I didn't know how to invest, and I needed somebody to tell me. So at that time, there was a nice lady in the bank. I still remember. I won't call her name. But she helped me, and she said, Chandra, put your money in a CD. It's safe. There's no risk to it, or very low risk, because you can never say something is no risk. So what I did, I took that $3,000. I put it in the bank. On the same day, I borrowed against it. So I gave them $3,000. They gave me $3,000 back. With a CD, when you borrow, you set your payments at what you want them to be. You're earning money on the interest regardless, as long as it's in a CD. Have you guys ever purchased a CD? Okay. So because I think about this every time income tax comes around, because this is what prompted me to start saving. So every year that I got an income tax check, and think about it, I'm 47 now. Every year that I got an income tax check, I bought a CD with it. And whenever I needed money off of that CD, I would just go to the bank and borrow my money. So at the same time, you repair your credit if your credit needs repaired, or you build your credit, because that goes on your credit score. That goes on your credit report, whether it's Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. One of the other things that I encourage you guys to do is write things down. Make saving fun. So for me, I like to get notebooks and design them and sit them by my nightstand. So this is my notebook. So my notebook has Robin, Cameron, Lucy, and Kylan. These are my grandbabies and my babies. Anibra and Cam. That's my business name, which is Robin's name spelled backwards and Cameron's name. So in this, I have this on my bed at my bedside every day. And I write my thoughts down. I write money down. I write things to do down in it. Make a list of all the people that owe you. Get your money. Stop loaning money if you're not able to do it. One of the basic things I'm going to just share with you real quick, and we'll have to do this another day because my boss was so graciously okay with me doing this live. Think about if your shoes, your outfit, or your hairdo costs more than the money that you have in the bank, you need to readjust your priorities. So, hit me up on Facebook, call me, instant message me, and stay tuned, and I'll give you some more updates later. Thanks.
That was great.